Hi everyone, it's Shannon, aka Crossing. I hope you are having a wonderful day so far. Today we are back with another aesthetic dream island tour, and this one is one of those islands that just perfectly blends city and natural together. And I know we have all been loving these kind of structured yet natural islands, so I found a great one for us to tour and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So let's just get right into it. Okay, so first things first, we are going to check out the island map. Let's see what's going on here. So this creator is Japanese, but the island is called Hartfield Island. The dream address is on the screen as well as the creator's socials. I will also have them in the description as always, but I'm really loving this map. It actually looks quite simple. It looks like they kept their river mouths kind of where they are. They definitely did some terraforming and a little bit of waterscaping, but the island itself is actually quite flat, which I always find super impressive. I'm one of those people that really relies on terraforming to decorate, so when I see an island like this, I know there's going to be some great city areas and just a really nice layout without relying on terraforming. So basically, I think it'll be really good for some inspiration in that way. We also have some really cute villagers on the island. Definitely a nice mix of villagers here. I know for me, like, I try to stick with a similar aesthetic with my villagers, but I really like that there's lots of colorful, cute, like, villagers here and lots of different species. So yeah, I'm excited to see them just kind of chilling around the island, but let's just get into actually exploring. So right off the bat, I'm seeing a ton of greenery, which makes me so happy. I always like to open up the camera at the entrance so we can really just get an idea of what's to come for the island. This is absolutely stunning. I am really getting that perfect mix of natural and structured because we're getting a little bit of this more concrete road, but then there's so much greenery. We have the dirt path and then lots of just like really cute overgrown decor. I like using the tire toy. I also like that we're getting some of the cacti and even some of the yacht items in here. I'm getting maybe a little bit of a like nautical vibe in an interesting way. I also just really like that they're customizing the houses to be similar, pretty much the same. Actually, these houses are the same in color and just every part of their exterior, but I think it really helps make an island feel cohesive to really take advantage of customizing our villager exteriors. So I'm really getting a very cohesive look and feel just from the beginning of this entrance here. I don't even know which way I want to go yet. I feel like every way is so tempting to me. I want to just look at the map really quick. Let's see which side we're closer to. Okay, so you guys can see we're pretty close to the left of the island right now. So I say let's go left and then make our way around. All right, so I'm gonna just pan up so we can get as much of the view as possible. I'll try to give us as many angles as I go through here, but I find that panning up really helps me get an idea of all of the decoration and all of the work that's went into all of these layouts and just, I don't know, I think it's so interesting to see the bigger picture when I'm going through these islands. So one of the houses over here does have a menu sign in front of it. I'm not sure, maybe it's some sort of shop or even a cafe, but I really like making villager houses into something more than just a house. We also have some really cool ideas for just decorating around a path. We have this ATM over here, and then a really nice mix of different codes all throughout. These planks are beautiful, and look at just the way that we merge from the structured path to this beautiful dirt path and this more like park-like area. I've been seeing so many people using the skateboards, and I really need to remember to get one from a treasure island or trade with someone because they really make an island feel so realistic. Also, amazing use of wheat fields all throughout this island. I love that pale green customization of the wheat fields, so I'm really just loving seeing it really like spammed throughout this island. I'm gonna go back this way, so it looks like we have more of a kind of neighborhood area back here as well, but I'm gonna go over to the left first before we go too far that way. So we have this really amazing like wheat field farm behind here. So there's this little entrance with this concrete pathing. There's some sort of sign here, and then you can come back here and just look at this beauty. Oh my gosh. This is so gorgeous. I think just the combination of this diagonal path and then also all of the wheat fields that they have. I can't even imagine how many Treasure Island trips, or if they were ordering all of these wheat fields from the Nook stop. That is just some real dedication here. And it always looks really good to put something in between the wheat fields, like how they have that car in there. It really gives it an amazing overgrown look. And then all of these outdoor stalls back here just really helps frame this whole farmy area vibe that we have. If we continue back a little bit further, we're back on this like main road or main pathway. There's even a car, which just really adds to the whole like street feel that we have. And then this is where we're seeing some of that terraforming that we got a little bit of a glimpse of on the map. I'm going to open up the camera so we can just see how this connects to their river mouth. But I think they did a really beautiful job of keeping the river mouth where it was, but just really working with the waterscaping and terraforming to transition these areas. Something I've been working on myself on my island is how to transition some more structured areas and natural areas. And I think something like this, when you have a bridge divider, really helps separate the two. So coming over here, we're definitely in a more natural part of the island. Again, amazing use of just codes throughout here and different items. I'm seeing a ton of these paint cans, and I have been seeing this on a lot of islands. So if you have not stocked up on some paint cans, this may be your sign to do so, because they are just such a nice item. I think they really add to that kind of like natural, I don't know, lived in type of island vibe. So I highly recommend them. I think they're really aesthetic and they just work really nicely. And then coming back here, I'm seeing this really nice different path. We have this kind of wood deck. It's definitely very overgrown, and this looks to be like a plant shop at the back of the island. I can really tell that the creator loves green, which I mean, I do too. So I'm loving this island aesthetic. And then they have this really beautiful little setup on the peninsula. I love that they framed the gazebo with just some really nice natural elements. We're really, of course, getting a lot of white and green all throughout this island. So this is one of those islands that just shows if you do stick to a color palette or a very specific theme, your whole island does feel quite cohesive. I know I talk a lot about not having to stick to a theme or a color palette, but I think there's benefits to both. So if you're someone who really likes a cohesive look, I definitely recommend sticking to a color palette and then customizing all of your items to be in that color as well. So we're seeing a ton of beautiful terraforming up here, definitely an extension to this more natural area. And what we're getting here is their campsite. I love these little white divider lines. They're kind of like a crosswalk, but I love when creators use them as these like filler areas on top of the grass. It's that really perfect mix of natural with a little bit of like structured city elements to it. And it's just a really nice pattern. It's a nice way to just like break up a layout. But this to me is so beautiful. The way that they've layered the kind of wood pathing on top of the dirt path, and then placing their campsite on the back of the island like this with that beautiful view of the water behind. It's so smart. I just love this idea for a campsite. If you don't know what to do with your campsite, placing it on its own cliff like this is always a really great idea. And then you can just focus on decorating around it, really playing with some fun terraforming like they did here as well. This is just so beyond stunning to me. I don't know if I should go down this incline over here. I feel like we're gonna come over here later, so I don't wanna spoil it. I'm gonna go back down where we were before, and then we'll make our way to the middle and right side of the island. So I like to tour by seeing one full side of the island and then kind of like wrapping around and getting to the middle and right side in this instance. So we're going to come back up this way and then just really head back over to where resident services is and see what would happen if we went from the right side of the island instead of the left side. So we'll also, by doing this, get another view of everything that we saw before, and I think it's just a really fun way to explore islands. Actually, I think we haven't even seen anything over here yet. So now that we've wrapped back around to the right of this wheat fields farm, we have another little neighborhood over here. And this is where we're actually seeing one of the rep houses. Again, color palette is just on point, so cohesive throughout this whole island. I'm getting so much inspiration here just from color palette alone. But using this like nice gray pathing all throughout really ties everything together. And then we have some really cute areas on the side, like places to sit. Looks like we even have a food truck over there. So I really am just loving how kind of active and lived in this whole island feels. So lots of cute stuff all throughout here. I am just obsessed with the way that they do neighborhoods. So I know I will get a ton of inspiration for my own island when I start working on some more neighborhoods around there. I also want to note that the island doesn't feel overly decorated. It's not overly cluttered, even though it is pretty filled in with natural items like trees and wheat fields throughout. But if you actually look, there's not a ton of like crazy builds going on. We have little seating areas, but they're quite simple. So this is something I've been working on myself, is just to kind of have more simple layouts, because I think sometimes maybe simple layouts isn't the right word, but simple like setups or simple filler areas, because I think a little goes a long way. And I've really just been loving this overall like simpler aesthetic. And that's not to call this island simple, because I actually think obviously a ton of work went into this. It's just the way of decorating that isn't overly cluttered that I've just been really drawn to lately. So we're back up here. This is another extension to the neighborhood that we first came to. So instead of going to the left, we will go to the right and take a look at everything over this way. So we can head up over here and just see how they decorated around the path. So over here we have some really cute seating areas. This is right by the beach. So the beach is quite simple, and this is my favorite way of decorating a beach, but it is accessible. So I really like that. If you want to like have a couple of little beach areas that are decorated, I think an approach like this works really well. But let's see, we're gonna continue over to the right. We saw some of these cute little bistro tables, and this is the way that this like kind of walkway leads you to that other little neighborhood. So I'm just loving how everything is flowing. We have a bridge over here, and let's just open up the camera because I love to get a good view of everything. Just such a beautiful job with laying out a town like this. It's perfect mix of that natural vibe and then the still really structured and kind of perfectly laid out island. So coming over here, we have another one of the villager houses. Again, very consistent with their color palette all throughout, and with the items that they're using, like the black car and just the white items all throughout. So very much of a like black, white, gray, and then green theme all throughout here. And then coming through this way, there is a little bit of decoration in front of the house. I really like the use of these volleyballs as well. Definitely add a playful feel. Definitely has that kind of like park-like, or just, I don't know, more natural vibe over in the front of the house. And then again, some more details over here on the beach. Definitely lots of places to kind of hang out and relax on this island. So let's follow this pathway back up and continue over to the right. Want to make sure we didn't miss anything over this way. So this is that other house that was next to the previous house we were looking at. And look at this view right here. I am absolutely loving the way that this terraforming was done. So we kind of have a little bit of a diagonal river, but I think the diagonal houses, they just make for such a beautiful view. I am getting so much inspiration for little neighborhoods on my island. I know I said that before, but I really just love their way of terraforming and their placement of all of their houses. Just the flow is really so beautiful. If we come up here, there's a little bit of a place to like dock your boat. And I really also just want to note how everything feels so kind of organic. Nothing feels overly like symmetrical, but it still feels so perfectly placed. Like the way that they have this mop over here and then the two tires. I don't know, just the placement and curation of items is so beautiful. And this little cutout standy door is a great way to divide up different areas of your island. Over here, like this is just so cute. Putting a little stool to sit by the water or fish. Very smart idea. Coming back through this way, just tons and tons of trees throughout here. Kind of feels like you're just walking through a forest, which I absolutely adore. I don't know if I should go back on the beach really quick because I'm wondering if their pier is over here and if that was decorated. It may not be. But okay, cute. This is an adorable way to set up a little waiting spot for Cap'n. I love the little shoes on the round pillow, but it looks like most of their beaches are just little kind of like relaxing areas. So really good inspiration if you're looking for some like simple and natural beach decor. If you guys do visit and that's what you're looking for, you can definitely run around the beaches and get a better idea of how to lay something like that out. So lots of beautiful natural designs going on over here with all of the waterscaping and this dirt pathing. But we're going to follow this little path back a little bit further. I even like that they're using a city item like this crosswalk signal in a natural part of their island. It's a really fun way to just break the rules around what belongs on a city island or what belongs on a natural island item-wise. So I really do like that. Actually, before I go too far back that way, let's continue this way over to the left and see what else we may have missed over here. This is an extension to some of this like neighborhood area that we saw before. And I'm loving the way that everything flows so beautifully. I'm like starting to question, have we been over here? But no, this was another part of the neighborhood. But since they are so consistent with their color palette and their house decorations, I was getting confused if I had seen some of this stuff before. But I don't think we have, because this is right over by the front. This is resident services over here. And this is where we were. I think we were over here before. I'm starting to question myself, but we'll get back here if we missed anything. So, okay, we have more of these little houses over here, really great extension to this neighborhood, but I'm going to follow this little path back here, so to the right of resident services, and see what we have. So this is a little bit of a actual like medieval feel I'm getting with the carriages, but I really like the way that it just matches the aesthetic perfectly somehow. So kudos to them for making so many different types of items work. I will get back to the front of resident services when we finish the tour, but that's just to kind of show how everything is connected and where we will end up getting back to. So back here we have the museum. This is such a fun way to treat a museum, especially on a natural part of your island. I think this is super tricky to pull off, but it somehow works really well on this island. I think it's probably because they have such a good mix of like city vibes and natural vibes that the museum doesn't feel too out of place, but I definitely think it's tricky to make a museum work on a natural island. So coming up here, I saw this little incline and there is a little bakery over here in the woods. I love making little builds that are just surrounded by trees. And this is one of those that just looks so good. I love that menu sign that they're using around their island. Just works really beautifully. And this seems to be more of like a town area, maybe more of a shopping area. And then it looks like we have another villager house over here with a little seating area. Again, this just goes to show how simple you can be with the amount of items that you're using and still make a whole layout feel so cohesive just by having these really structured builds and the way that they're laying out their codes. So coming up over this way, we have another resident rep house, and it actually looks like they have their own little like coffee and plant shop maybe. I always wanted to own my own little bakery and sell plants in there, so that's kind of giving me that same vibe. But wow, this view is just insane. It's so good. So let's see, I'm gonna continue over this way. I see that we have Able Sisters over here, and just look at that transition from the city part to this natural little Able Sisters over here. Look at how overgrown it feels. I love this so much. This is such a whimsical like design for anything, not even just Able Sisters, but by placing so many flowers and just this really like natural worn away pathing, it just gives it such a like storybook type of vibe to me. It feels so magical and I really just love this. We're even seeing the wheat field down below there, so I'm really just liking how everything has really flowed so beautifully together. I'm gonna follow back this way and look at this. Oh my gosh, they're so good at both the natural areas and the city areas that I could honestly cry. Is this not the most beautiful little kids tent campsite? I love that it even looks like a outdoor movie theater with that big screen in the back. This is just one of the most beautiful campsites I've ever seen. I want to hang out here. I want a drive-in movie theater near me that looks like this. And then if we come back over this way, okay, I'm starting to understand the flow. This was if we were to go by where the campsite was before. I said I wasn't going to go over here, and I'm glad we waited because I think it kind of works better to come from the front. So back over here, we have some more little natural areas, little like stalls. I feel like this is a little bit of a farmy town throughout, and it's just so inspiring to see these little different layouts that they've made all throughout their island, whether it's a filler space or whether it's a big build. They're just so talented in the way that they're designing. Back here, it looks like a little like outdoor restaurant, and it's just so nice how cohesive everything is with these dark brown colors. And then if we come up over this way, look at this stunning little neighborhood. I have said it a million times, but I absolutely love diagonal pathing, and this is such a great execution of it. Look at this. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. It's almost like a cul-de-sac design, but it's really just a neighborhood, and the way that they've laid it out is so good. I honestly want to steal this idea altogether. Let's look at it from a higher level. That is just so amazing. And again, it's like not overly done. It's really just feels like a painting, the way that they have laid out this island, the codes that they're using, the layouts, all of it is just so good. So I think we were actually over in this neighborhood before. I'm gonna go back down there, but yes, this is over by where that little plant shop was with the other resident rep house, but we can start to get some more details around what was going on in this little neighborhood. So much to take in. This is one of those islands that I really recommend visiting yourself as well if you want to just really like study the way that they've laid things out and the items that they're using. This is definitely one of those islands that I feel like I would come back and visit over and over again just for inspiration alone. It has so many gems for just ideas and filler spaces. It's really just one of those very inspiring islands. Back here, this looks to be the secret beach. And again, just somehow everything looks so effortless. It's so good. I feel like that's so hard to pull off in Animal Crossing, that like effortlessly beautiful and perfect look. It's just really tricky, but they've really just done that all throughout. Back here, we have a couple more of these yachts and little, like, I guess places to kind of work. It's definitely a little bit of a like workshop feel all throughout, maybe because of the paint cans, but even over here with like the DIY bench, that chalkboard in the background. I mean, maybe this is some sort of a like junkyard, I don't know, but it works really nicely. So aesthetically, if I don't understand it, but it looks good, that's all I really care about when it comes to Animal Crossing islands. Okay, so let's continue back up this path. We saw a little bit of what was going on back there, and this is back with some of this little, like to the side of this little neighborhood. There's a path over to the right, and this is where we have Nook's Cranny. And look at Nook's, so cute with the shopping carts. I always want to use the shopping carts and the shopping baskets on my island, and I always forget to. So this is my reminder to do so. Look at that. It is just so good. I really like, it's so funny because we're transitioning from like natural areas with totally different codes to more like structured city areas, and I haven't even been realizing that we're transitioning. So that just goes to show like how great the flow is and how, I don't know, like how effortlessly they've transitioned from different kind of aesthetics throughout their island. This is really cute. Over here we have another little like kind of garden area. Maybe this is a community garden, but just a cool little layout. I never really see people do these like full on codes in between the dirt like rows. So I think that's a really fun idea, and it definitely ties it into their color palette on their island a bit more. So loving all of this so much. I'm gonna continue up this way. We have another little like dessert spot over here. This is over behind the museum, and there's even some places to sit on the beach. So I really like that they extended this little like bakery or dessert shop over to the beach as well. So let's continue back up this way. I think that we may have seen mostly everything on this island, but I do want to like loop back around. I feel like we missed a couple of things in front of resident services. So I love to do this at the end, just loop back around, make sure we didn't miss anything, kind of do like another once over of the island. So, okay, this is over here by resident services. The way that we could have got here from the front of the island was if we were to go straight back rather than to the left or the right. We have a little bit of a continuation of this pathing over here, and we did go over to the left already. We saw some of these houses over here. So I think the only things that we may have missed are over here to the left side, which is just a cute little seating or waiting area by resident services. And then if we pan up, they actually have all of the like castle walls behind here. So it's just a really great way to break up the back of resident services, which, as we all know, can be a little bit tricky. So I know that was a lot today. I had so much that I wanted to show you guys on this island. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. Let me know what you'd like to see next. I would love to hear from you guys, but I will see you guys next time. Bye.